ওকে, আজকে আমরা অ্যাড্রেসিং মেকানিজমস গুলো নিয়ে আলোচনা করব। ডিফারেন্ট অ্যাড্রেসিং মেকানিজমস ইন নেটওয়ার্কিং, that is our second module. তো আমরা আজকে সেই অ্যাড্রেসিং মেকানিজমস গুলো নিয়ে আলোচনা করব। অ্যাড্রেসিং বলতে in networking, first of all we have to discuss about the different types of addressing modes first. First we have to discuss about different types of addressing modes, but before that I want to tell you, and you know probably, that there are mainly two types of addresses are present, or you can say used in networking. The first type of address, it is known as logical address, and the other type is known as physical address. This logical address, it is again can be subdivided mainly into two types: IP version 4 or Internet Protocol version 4, and another is Internet Protocol version 6. That is about the logical addresses. And the physical address, you can mention it more specifically as a MAC address or medium access control address, which is nothing but the address of your network interface card, which is present, which is embedded actually in your motherboard. This network interface card is that particular electronic chip through which our system actually access the internet, or you can say through this chip system is connected to the public network. Now that is basically network interface card, and each and every network interface card, it has an unique address which is unique in the world. You cannot find any network interface cards with same address. Always the address of this network interface card will be unique. So we'll come to that later on, but first, for now, we will concentrate on the logical address initially. So logical address, it is more prominently known as IP version 4 or Internet Protocol version 4 address. That is basically known as logical address. Now this IP version 4, it is basically a classful address. It is also known as classful address. Classful address, where the whole address range is divided into different classes, starting from class A, then class B, class C, class D, and class E. So there are 5 classes, as you see, in IP version 4 addressing mechanism. What is that? How this classification has been done? We will come to that. But before going into the details of IP version 4, I want to tell you that IP version 6 this particular addressing mechanism, you can call it as classless addressing mechanism, as there is no such classifications. Okay. One thing here I want to mention is that IP version 4, it is a 32-bit address divided into 4 bytes, whereas IP version 6 is a 128-bit address and it is represented in hexadecimal notation, whereas IP version 4 represented in decimal notation. So this is the very basic idea about the whole addressing mechanism. Now later on we will see some other technical aspects, like how we can subdivide a network into different subnetworks and all that. But before going to that, I will start with the different addressing modes in IP version 4. What are the different addressing mode in IP version 4? Then I will come to the classifications of the IP version 4, and then we will try to see the subnetting options present in IP version 4, and in that way we will move on. Okay, so I'm rubbing this and I'm going to the addressing modes. So addressing modes in IP version 4, there are mainly 4 addressing modes. Number 1 is unicast addressing mode. Now, if you try to understand what is unicast addressing mode, then we have to consider 4 nodes which is connected to a particular device, maybe that may be hub, maybe anything else. So if this is the scenario that this is a node A, node B, node C, and node D, and when I'm saying that, now maybe you can think of like these are the servers, this is a client, or like that, whatever it may be. Unicast addressing mode means, suppose node B is transferring some data to node C. So when node B is transferring some data to node C, So we can call it, it is an unicast addressing mode. So here the data is sent only to a specific host. And obviously the destination address, that is the address of this node, this field will contain 32-bit IP address of this particular node, because each and every node, it has some address, IP address. So when this node is trying to communicate with this node, then in the destination address field of the packet which is being transferred from node B to node C, it will hold 32-bit IP address. So that is unicast addressing mode. Next, if we go to the next addressing mode, that will be known as broadcast addressing mode. Number 2, it is broadcast addressing mode. Now in the broadcast addressing mode, the scenario is different. The scenario is different. Here, the scenario will be like this. That means when the data, when we want to send the data to all the nodes, we can call it broadcast addressing mode. More specifically, we will understand it better. Suppose this is a client machine and these are server machines, or maybe this is a server machine. I'm just reversing the scenario. These are server machine and all these are client machines. If it happens like that, this is client, this is client, this is also a client machine. Then suppose the server wants to send the data to all its clients. If that is the requirement, then server will send this data to this connecting device. That device may be anything, hub, repeater, whatever. We are not going to that detail. So server is sending some data to this connecting device, and from this connecting device, the data is reaching to every other devices which is present in this network. So that is the scenario which you can call, it is a broadcast network or broadcast communication or broadcast addressing mode. So this may be another mode, broadcast mode. Now the another mode, number 3, it is known as multicast addressing mode. Multicast addressing mode. Now what happens here in the multicast addressing mode? Suppose the scenario is again something different. Suppose now I am assuming this is my client machine and all these are my server machines. Fine. Now suppose the scenario is like that. Suppose this server, let's server C, it wants to send some data to some specific nodes. To some specific nodes, not to all. In the broadcast, it was all. In the unicast, it was 1-to-1 or very specific. In the multicast, more than one. So server C is sending some data to this connecting device, and from this connecting device, the data is reaching to this node as well as to this node, not to this node. So that becomes multicasting addressing mode, multicast addressing mode, right? Fine. Another addressing mode, which is known as hierarchical. Another addressing mode, which is known as hierarchical addressing mode. Now, what is hierarchical addressing mode? From the name, you can understand that whenever I'm saying hierarchical addressing mode, that means there is some hierarchy is present. That means there is some hierarchy is present in my network. Suppose this is a node. You can better understand because you are technical people. Like suppose it's a tree structure network. So that will become hierarchical network. Suppose the structure of the network is like that, and in the hierarchical addressing mode, the communication will happen in a hierarchical order. Like suppose this node will communicate with this node, and then this node will pass on the message to the root node, like that. It's a hierarchical communication mode, hierarchical addressing mode. Okay, so some hierarchy will be maintained over here. So these are the very basic addressing modes which we use in IPv4 addressing mechanism. Fine. So now coming into the details of IPv4 addresses as well as its class, what are the classification techniques and all that. So I'm coming to that now. So these are the several modes of communication what we use in our practical communication scenario. Fine. So now I'm going to explain you what is IPv4 addressing mechanism. Now basically, when I'm saying IPv4 addressing mechanism, I have told you that there are several classes. তার আগে আমি যেটা বলেছি সেটা হচ্ছে IPv4 এই অ্যাড্রেসিংটা 32 bit address. 32 bits addresses are there, and as it is 32 bits, we have divided it into 4 bytes. We have divided it into 4 bytes. Now let us see. And another thing we have to remember that all these are actually represented in binary. In our system, all these are actually represented in binary, not in other format. It is actually represented in binary, right? But here, for our understanding, we will represent it in decimal first, and then when we will work upon with this particular addressing mechanism, we will convert it into decimal as and when it will be required. So right now I'm telling you what are the classifications and what are the meanings of those classifications, what are the needs of those classifications. So if I say class A, so class A, here I am writing the actually each and every IPv4 address. Again, you have to remember that each and every IPv4 address, it will have two segments. It will have two parts. First part is known as network ID. First part is known as network ID, and the other part will be known as or is known as host ID. So this is the classification every IPv4 address follows. This is network ID. First part of the IPv4 address will be always network address, network ID, and the other part will be host ID. Now this classification of the IPv4 addresses, it was done as per our requirement, because we have different requirements. Like an organization like TCS or CTS, the number of IP addresses they will require, it will obviously not same as the number of address required in our college, or maybe it will not be same. For suppose for use in our home networks. So different users, they have different requirements. A big organizations requires huge IP addresses. Smaller organizations require smaller IP addresses. Domestic purpose, there'll be some other requirement. So based on these things, these classifications has come. These classifications have come based on these requirements. So in the class A, the number of bits which will be used to represent network ID is 1 byte. As I told you that all total it is 4 bytes. All total it is 4 bytes. So 1 byte will be represent to network ID, and the rest of the 3 bytes will be represent the host ID. This is for class A. Now similarly, if I go for class B, the division will be 2 bytes and 2 bytes. Similarly, if I go for class C, the division will be 3 bytes and 1 byte. For class D, no such division, as it is used for ব্রডকাস্ট অ্যাড্রেসিং মেকানিজম। যে ব্রডকাস্ট অ্যাড্রেসিং মেকানিজম আমরা দেখে এলাম, যেখানে আলাদা করে কোনো ডেস্টিনেশন মেনশন করার দরকার নেই। Every nodes connected in my network will receive the data. That is the concept of broadcast addressing. So in broadcast mechanism, we don't have to mention the destination IP addresses separately. So class D IP addresses are used for broadcast mechanism, and class E, this is some reserve IP address which is used for research purposes and all that. So you can understand, we have to concentrate, we have to focus mainly on class A, B and C IP addresses. We have to understand what is the basic difference between these class A, B, C IP addresses and all that. Now from this structure, you should understand that when I'm talking about class A IP addresses, and as there are three bytes to represent the host, that means under a single class A IP address, there could be 2 to the power 24 number of hosts. 2 to the power 24 number of hosts. Under a single class A IP address, there could be 2 to the power 24 number of hosts. Why I'm saying that? Why I'm saying that? As because we represent these IP addresses in binary. And you know, in binary, each and every bit can have two states, 0 and 1. And as here, the length of host ID is 3 bytes. So that means 24 bits are involved. 3 bytes means 3 into 8, 24. So that is why the number of hosts can be there is 2 to the power 24. And you can assume, you can understand that 2 to the power 24 is a huge number. It is a huge number. You can calculate it. It's a huge number. So as it is a huge number, so if your ISP, internet service provider, those are responsible for assigning IP addresses to the individual. So if ISP assigns a class A IP address to a user like us, for like we are a home user, will be needed maximum 1 IP address, that is sufficient. 2 IP address, 3 IP address, 4, 5, maybe 10. Or maybe your ISP assigning class A IP address to the user like our college, where it may be requirement is maybe 250 max to max, or like that. So if your ISP assigns this kind of users a class A IP address, so rest of the IP addresses, rest of the huge IP addresses under present under this class A IP address, because it is 2 to the power 24 means huge. So the rest of the IP addresses will be wastage. Nobody can use it because that particular block is assigned to your organization. So nobody can use it. That particular IP address is assigned to your organization. So your router will have that IP address. So nobody can use it. So that is why class A IP addresses will be assigned to only to giant organizations like TCS, CTS, and Tata and all that. That is that kind of giant organization, Reliance, and that kind of giant in our country. I'm just telling you. So that kind of giant organizations will be assigned class A IP address, not people like us, not people like not a user like our college and all that. So based on the requirement, this classifications has been done. এই তো শুরু করলাম, এর মধ্যে 10 মিনিটের ইয়ে দিচ্ছে। আচ্ছা, so that is class A. Now for class B, you can understand how many number of hosts will be there. 2 to the power 16 number of hosts will be there under a single class A, class B IP address. Again, 2 to the power 16 is not so small. It is also huge. Not huge like 2 to the power 24, but still it is huge, and not any. It is not for any domestic user. Again, some mid-size organization, they may go for these IP addresses like Hindustan Lever and all that. I'm not saying that. I don't know exactly that. What are the basic requirements for of Hindustan Lever and TCS and all that? What are the difference? I'm just giving you an example. Okay. So I'm not saying that Hindustan Lever is a small organization and TCS is a gigantic organization, and I'm not going into that comparison. I'm just giving you this example so that you can understand. So class B, it will have, it has 16 bits. So 2 to the power 16 number of hosts can be there under a single class B IP address. So it is for smaller organizations than class A. Now coming to the class C, you see the number of IP address here, number of host here can have 2 to the power 8. 2 to the power 8 number of hosts. Now when it is 2 to the power 8 number of hosts, that means you just make it all ones, 8 ones. So 8 ones in binary, 8 ones in binary, it will be how much? 8 ones in binary, that means 2 to the power 8 means 256. So here under class C IP address, under a single class C IP address I'm talking about, can have 2 to the power 56 number of hosts. Now this number is much more smaller than these numbers, much smaller rather, and can be assigned for a normal user. So based on this requirement, actually based on this different requirement, we have classified our IP addresses in such a way. So that is the classification, that is the number of network ID and number of host ID. Now here I should mention that network ID and host ID. What is network ID? What is host ID? Network ID, it is used to identify a network in the internet. Suppose your college has a network ID. That network ID represents this is the network of Techno India Hubli. And under that network, there may be lots of machines are connected which they have their own addresses, host addresses. So those are known as host addresses. Now if suppose somebody wants to communicate from the outside to some host machine present in our lab, in that case, at first the network of our college will be identified from the network ID, which is unique. So that will be identified, our college IP address will be identified first from this network ID. Then after that, it will search for the host ID to reach to the specific machine present in our network. So that is basically the need of network ID and host ID. Network ID represents the network, identification of the network. Host ID represents the host under network. Fine. So now, if it is okay, if you have any question here, you can ask me, because this is not so new to you. You have gone through it, I suppose. So if you don't have any confusion from here, because this is, you have to remember this thing, because all the things are related. Next, I am coming to the ranges. What are the different ranges present under IPv4? মানে আমরা কোন রেঞ্জ থেকে কোন রেঞ্জকে ক্লাস এ বলবো, কোন রেঞ্জ থেকে কোন রেঞ্জকে ক্লাস বি বলবো, কোন রেঞ্জ থেকে কোন রেঞ্জকে ক্লাস সি বলবো, like that. So now I will go to that range, so that if some IP address is given to you, you can say that it belongs to class A, or it belongs to class B, it belongs to class D, it belongs to class C, and like that, which is very important. So I'm going to that part. So I'm keeping this. Now, class A, the range starts from this is the range of class A IP address. I'm coming. Why I'm using this, why I'm using that, what is the meaning of this and that, but this is the range of class A IP address. Now for class B, this is class B IP address. For class C, for class D. And for class E, this is the range. This is the range of each and every IP address. If any IP address given to you falls in this range, it is a class A IP address, you should remember. If it falls in this range, it is a class B IP address. And you can check your IP address, your machine's IP address. If you are logged in from your computer, you can check in, or even you can check from your mobile. Simply, if you ask a Google that what is my IP address, it will show you what is your IP address right now. Okay. So that is basically the ranges. Now the thing is that what is the meaning of these dots? Why I'm writing this 255 and all that? Now, first of all, I told you that each and every IPv4 addresses are divided into two parts: network ID, host ID. And then I have told you that in class A, network ID is of 1 byte, host ID is of 3 bytes. So when the network ID, I'm saying when the network ID is 1 byte, that means I should represent it in decimal. Actually, it is represented in decimal. Actually, it is represented in binary. In your system, when it will be actually represented, it will be represented in binary. But for our simplicity, we represent it in decimal. So here, this 0 means there are 80 bits. 0 means there are 80 bits. Next 0 means again 80 bits. Next 0 means again 80 bits. Next 0 means and next 0 means again 80 bits. So all total it becomes 32 bits. So 32 zeros are there. Similarly, here if you see, represent 127 in binary,